Hello. Oh, you're very kind. Befallen falt a chuirm, has in gléholicht dheireadh in Chùirt and och gers an concert dheireadh in Cèilidhean chuirsteach. We are delighted to be back here at Eden Court. It's become a tradition to have the final concert of our Cèilidh Trail tour each summer in the One Touch Theatre, this beautiful space. And this year is the 20th year of the Fèis Rois Cèilidh Trail. In the year 2000, 10 young musicians spent 3 weeks playing small venues across Rossshire, coordinated by our then education officer, Julie Fowlis. And in the past 20 years, we've now had more than 250 musicians take part in this professional development project. And at least half of them are now making a living, either full-time or part of their income, by performing in traditional music in Scotland. And tonight, we have 15 musicians that have been taking part in this summer's project. They met for a week in July for the first time and had a really intensive rehearsal week at Fairburn Activity Centre. And that was the first time they'd met each other. And for the last 4 weeks, they've been out on the road separately. They've not been back together since. So they're super excited to see and hear each other tonight. But before I invite the first group on, I would like to dedicate tonight's concert to two incredible Highland gentlemen who did an extraordinary amount for Fèis Rois and who both sadly passed away earlier this year. Fèis Rois was founded in 1986 by a small group of people who had a great vision for traditional music and Gaelic culture in Rossshire, and Jock Watt at that time was the Director of Culture and Leisure Services at Ross and Cromarty District Council. And Jock stayed on the board and the committee of Fèis Rois for 23 years until 2009. And in the last 10 years, he's been a great support and always kept a great interest in what we've been doing. And he's a huge loss to Fèis Rois and the wider Highlands. And also, more recently than that, Duncan Mccrory, a huge ambassador for the Gaelic language and culture and an incredible mentor to me. I miss the wee random notes in the post and emails and phone calls to the office. Duncan did a huge amount for Fèis Rois and for Gaelic across Scotland, and tonight's concert I would like to be in memory of both Jock and Duncan, and I'm really delighted that their families are with us tonight too. As they get on stage behind me, I'll introduce you to the first 5 musicians. So we have funding each year to take 15 young musicians at the moment. It's a paid summer job for them. And it's a professional development opportunity. And the other side of the project is that it's a cultural tourism initiative. So visitors and locals alike actually love hearing traditional music in places across the Highlands and across Scotland now where they might not normally hear it in the summer. So we audition people in the spring, and if they're successful, I allocate them into bands of 5 with a balance of instruments across each band. So the first band you're going to hear tonight, we have got Duncan Ritchie on accordion at the far end here. And Duncan has just finished school at the music school in Aberdeen and is about to start the degree course at the Royal Conservatoire in Traditional Music. And beside Duncan, we have Rudy Buxton here on the pipes and Gaelic song tonight. Rudy's from Ullapool. And we have regulars at our residential Fèisinn every year, the next 3 participants, and our weekly classes too. On the fiddle from Bonar Bridge, we've got Beth Llewellyn. And studying Celtic Studies at Edinburgh University on the Clarsach, we've got Grace Stewart-Skinner. Her fans are in tonight, Grace. And on the guitar, we have Finlay Clark. So, Marasavish Dickiniesh, Toshikish the Beck and Kjol a Feep. It's a tradition at Fèis Rois concerts that we start with some Highland bagpipes. So, Rudy is going to play us a tune on the pipes, and then once he's finished his set, when Jock retired from our board in 2009, I asked the Rossshire piper Duncan Mccrory to write a tune for him. So we're going to open the concert with the full band with that tune after we have Rudy play for us. So big hand for Rudy.
Thank you very much. So we're gonna carry on with a tune which I wrote about 2 years ago now for a family wedding, and I wrote it for my uncle to walk down the aisle. Sadly, the venue was so small that I only got to play like 2 or 3 bars, and then I had to stop. So now we're gonna play the whole tune, and I actually think that he is somewhere here tonight. So yeah, so we're gonna play that. Then we're gonna go into a tune that Duncan wrote.
Aye, so after that tune that Grace has written, we're going to be going to another tune I wrote. I wrote this, must be last year, and it's called A Good Day for Cake, and there's a wee story to it. So what happened was, I was on a chaidh trip last year, and one of the instructors who travelled with us, well, someone thought it was his birthday, and we made the cake for him in a very big hurry, and we got pretty much a party ready, and then through the party, it was all good, and then at the very end he said, yeah, thanks guys, but you know it's not my birthday. So, so I wrote it for this.
So I'm now going to sing you a wee love song. This is a song from Ullapool, and it was written by Hector Mackenzie. It's about a sailor who's trying to reassure a girl that he really does love her, and that when he goes off to sea, he will return for her. However, all the other sailors are telling the girl, don't be silly, and when he gets back on that ship, that's the last you'll ever see of him. So it's a bit sad if you think that, but I like to think there's a happy ending. But really, if you look at the other Gaelic songs, odds are not really in their favor. Mochaling Lùnastal Ben a chuailein an dheireadh fáin She caint do bhealls Pavilion an nuad bhíh mín sin praun Stu hogag suas mo Chrisa nuad bhíh tú brain dún Gur mulla dachadami smí noch arte chuin Sneachúntach mo chatolga Sto chatre fatte bhuan Gur trich mi artas menchach Ach tukish hami truach Es mare gian min dutag Chavi mo buain So we're going to now play our last set, which is a set of reels, starting off with a slow reel written by Callum Stewart called Untitled Chapter, or the Cairngorms. And then we're going on to a reel written by John McCrory, an Irish uilleann piper and whistle player, co-written by Tyler Duncan, jazz whistle player, for the album The Allum. And then we're finishing that one up with a tune by Cal McCrimmon that they recently recorded on the new Brepach album called Knees Up in Hanoi.
It's quite incredible that they didn't all know each other until the 12th of July. So this training week that I mentioned, it's a tall order. We give them 5 days, and by the end of the 5 days, we expect each of our groups to have a 1-hour performance set, be able to play for a 3-hour dance in a village hall, and be able to do their own sound. And then tonight's a huge luxury. They're all excited to have the great team here at Eden Court doing the sound and lights for them, because for the last month, they've been touring around in a van doing their own sound and PA in lots of village halls across the country. And it's just incredible what they can do in that short window of time. Have you been to Under Canvas? Oh, a few of you. Well, the tent outside, the stretch tent, it's been a lot of fun for us at Fèis Rois to programme that with James and the team here at Eden Court. We tried it last summer. People really liked it. We've made it longer this year, so tonight's the last night out there. We've had 7 weeks of music almost every night. And the Cèilidhean group that you've just heard have had a residency in there every Tuesday for the last few Tuesdays, which has been lovely for them, playing for visitors, but also they've been able to stay on and hear the professional acts playing after them, which has been really inspiring. So for the last 7 weeks under Canvas, we have had 35 different bands play, 101 individual musicians, and really importantly, I think visitors have loved it, local people have enjoyed the music, it's free, but I think really importantly, working with lots of freelance artists trying to live and work in the Highlands. From Under Canvas alone, Fèis Rois has paid £25,000 directly to artists in fees, which is making quite a big contribution. So the idea behind the Cèilidh Trail is that these young people get to experience any kind of gig imaginable. So big stages like tonight and festivals. So the group you've just heard opened the grassroots stage at Belladrum on the Saturday afternoon. And we've got lots of partnerships now across the UK and further afield actually with festivals. So the group you're about to hear have spent 2 weeks of their tour in England playing at Cambridge Folk Festival and Sidmouth Folk Week. And what's really lovely for me is to go to these huge festivals and then see, and for the young people actually, to see our former Cèilidh Trail participants playing in their own right. So at Cambridge this year, Josie Duncan, singer, and Ali Levac, the piper from Maryborough, were both playing on stage 2, a huge space with their band, and that was a real delight to see, because the last time they were there, they were wearing their Fèis Rois t-shirts with us. And similarly at Sidmouth, we had Rachel Newton was playing, who was a participant on that very first year in the year 2000, and it's great for these young folk to see that too. So I'm going to introduce you to our second Cèilidh Trail group of the night. While they get plugged in, I'll introduce them all one at a time. And I think particularly this group illustrate really nicely the ladder of progression that we offer at Fèis Rois, where some young people might take part in a schools programme. The Youth Music Initiative, funded by the Scottish Government, means that every child, before they get to the end of primary 7, gets to experience music for free in school. And my colleague Rachel Duff, who's here tonight, does an amazing job of managing that, not only in Highland, but we have a contract with Dumfries and Galloway Council and Aberdeenshire Council and Angus Council, and sometimes she could be working with up to 200 schools at once. But a young person might have their imagination sparked in school and then come along to our weekly classes. So some of the participants here came along and took up their instruments, whistle and fiddle, at the weekly classes that we run. And then they come along to our residential courses in Ullapool and become part of the Cèilidh Trail, and then eventually, often it goes full circle and they'll come back and teach for us. So tonight, on whistle and flute from Dornoch, who's been coming to lots of our courses for many years, we've got James Bald. And next to James, the first of our 2 fiddle players, who's a former Kilturn fiddler of ours, Olivia Gubbins from Och. And next to Olivia from Dunoon and studying at Edinburgh University, we have Holly Scott on fiddle. And from Kyle on the accordion and studying classical accordion at the Royal Conservatoire, we've got Kirsty Campbell. And from Ullapool and a regular participant on our courses up there on guitar, we have Gilly O'Flaherty. So enjoy the second Cèilidh Trail group of the evening.
Hello, how are you all doing? We're really excited to be here. We're also quite sad because it's our last gig, but we're not over yet, so still a wee bit more excitement. That was a wee set of tunes for you. The first was a pipe tune called Father Michael McDonald's Silver. It's been a month and I still haven't learnt the name of this tune. I think it's Father Michael McDonald's Silver Jubilee Anniversary Party. Am I right? Yeah. And it's by the piper Ian MacDonald from Glynnerig. And then that's followed by a jig called Fraser Fifield. It's by the Shetland fiddle player Chris Stout. And it's for Fraser Fifield, who is a saxophonist and whistle player. And the last tune in the set was called The Raft Race. It's by Hamish Napier, and it's about a raft race on the River Spey. Yeah, I'll pass over to Kirsty to tell you about the next song that we're going to sing.
So I'm going to sing a song called A Jawl na Dal. Mi dal hain áran tinam a jawl na dal. Sien sich mir von Shainek, Margaret Stewart. This is a song from the Mull of Kintyre, and it's a great love song. Hug min sul her fjallor, hug min sjalle utvån. Jern feiking og ljanan, tjingen fælesen nord. I det jallegen togsert, så kaste jeg år. Smeik barnat, skjerm hjerte, kubachlochnen doar. Bjerge feiking noas, og støy roig marden ras. Jeg stannar marolen, ståhu marden tar. Ta fjalla geraktane, plasne mjauer ta feik. Gregi manach jalu, jeg slach heden Who is saving Karajas and big parts the clowning? Could a was a hoika, mission all gem fear. It harshden like a march, confunan, gunstri. Could all love doing is good licking moskis. Good boy, good boy, good boy, no long. Good boy, and Tanoch, Eden Scully and Cow. Good boy, and Wasatch, Pallirock and Accord. Good boy, Cow Loch, from Bimo Herk, Lùnastal. Jenam beg du marchen hoch eden til I hau. Eges mische marjale varun en toon. Naleraching hat ganju, eges fjalling hulum. Lupure gul glandig, arsta mana min kjau. Joen en dag sul vojar at jaun. Rigur mahik ju trues, jol julen en mjaun. Saves hik ju stokki, bra kakker si jaun. Strika lain mir I tøv, som ju med bæv og fjaun.
you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. We're going to carry on now with another set of tunes. The first one that we're going to play is by local musician Mike Fass, and it's called Elizabeth's Plimsolls, and then we'll go into two polkas. The first one is called Nessa the Mover, written by Brendan Larsey for his daughter Nessa, and then the Battersea Ambulance. Hope you enjoy.
Tyne Vode. We've unfortunately come to our last set, but I just want to say a huge thank you to Fèis Rois and everyone working with it for making it such a great Cèilidh trail, for Fiona and Christian, and also for our drivers, Jamie and Tim. We're going to finish off with a Féis Commission tune. It's called Duncan Mccrory by Duncan Mccrory. And it's a very special tune because it's for Duncan Mccrory. He was a very dedicated board member of FèisTV Rois for a number of years, and he unfortunately passed away this year. So this is our special tribute to him. And then we're going to finish off with a tune called The dheireadh by Charlie McEwan.
James, Olivia, Holly, Kirsty, and Gilly, everyone. So if that has inspired you, I have two other colleagues with me in the audience tonight. TJ Bodden coordinates our weekly classes program. So we offer around 40 classes a week for everybody aged 8 and over. And I mean everybody. We definitely have people in our 80s in our classes. I used to teach fiddle before I came to work for Fèis Rois, and I remember my oldest student got a fiddle for his 80th birthday, so it's never too late to learn. And TJ would love to hear from you. Our classes are all on our website, and we have classes taking place across Rossshire, Ullapool, Dingwall, Eventon, Fortrose. So please do have a wee look. That's where James and Olivia started with us on their journeys. And we also have our Fèis Rois and Giacarin, our senior Fèis. So if you're sitting in the audience and you're S1 to S6, hopefully on Friday, my colleague Lara, who's here tonight, and I will launch online booking for that. That's a residential week, a lot of fun for high school pupils to come and stay in Ullapool with us from the 21st to the 25th of October. So we are going to take a short interval just now for about 20 minutes, and then we have a third group of amazing young musicians for you to enjoy. So enjoy your interval and a drink, and we'll see you shortly. And a big hello to everybody watching at home, and a huge thank you to Arthur Cormack and his team at Fèis Gale for live streaming tonight's concert. Woo, thank you. The third group that you're going to hear tonight, I think, illustrates really nicely the national reach of this project. So I mentioned that the Cèilidh Trail started in the year 2000 in Rossshire with a small group of musicians playing across the county, places like Inbhir Gardens, which we still do, and the Cèilidh Place in Ullapool, and lots of other local venues. And probably in 2011, I suddenly had this huge influx in applications to take part in the Cèilidh Trail. More than 50 young people applied, and that year I had funding to take 8, and I wanted 7 of the 8 to have a Rossshire postcode. So I got in touch with Creative Scotland and said, there's a huge appetite for this, so let's have a national trail. And in the years previous to that, the model has been so successful in terms of cultural tourism and developing young musicians that Fèis Gale had supported a number of Highland Fèisin to start their own Cèilidh trails. So as well as the Rossshire Trail, you'll have seen trails this summer in places like Argyll and Butte and Skye. So we started this national trail in places where there wasn't a Fèis or a Fèis Cèilidh Trail. So the group you're about to hear, they spent their first week in central Scotland. So they started off in Dundee, where they met up with amazing singer and tradition bearer Sheena Wellington and played at the Whiten Centre and on the Frigate Unicorn. And then they went to Glasgow and played a free concert in Kelvin Grove Museum for visitors there and at the Glad Cafe. So their first week was that part of the country, and then they went to Brittany for 2 weeks. We have a partnership with the festival in Lorient, and they spent 2 weeks over there, and this past week they have been down in Dumfries and Galloway, so they've driven up from there this morning. I'll tell you a wee bit more about this partnership in Lorient. So it's an enormous festival. Has anybody been? Yay, a few of you. Huge. They sold 83,000 tickets just to the part of the festival where our Fèis Rois tent was based in the Pavilion area for the Celtic nations. And something like 700,000 tickets were sold over the 10 days at all the events at this festival. It's enormous. But last year and this year, Fèis Rois has hosted the Scotland Pavilion. And the festival runs for 10 days, 2 weekends, week in the middle. And we programmed 100 hours of live music in that time. So it's a marathon, but a really fun marathon. So we had 80 hours of performance and 20 hours of workshops, but it's a really unique opportunity for minority language artists to come together. So one of the things that we did at the festival was run a panel discussion every day for an hour in our tent in the afternoon. And it was really amazing on the first day, on the Monday, to see 10 people sitting on a stage on a panel in front of an audience and being able to really discuss as artists working in minority languages. We had 8 languages amongst those 10 people. So we're hoping to develop that partnership more with the festival over there. And I think these guys will tell you about what an amazing time they had. So while they're getting on and getting set up, I'll tell you a wee bit more about each of them. They can walk on behind me. We have a partnership at Fèis Rois with UHI, with the university. And this year we invited Anna Wendy Stevenson, the course leader on the BA Applied Music course, to nominate a student to come on the Cèilidh Trail, and Karina McInnes from Harris won that. that place. So a big hand for Karina on the Clarsach. the national demand for places. So the furthest south from Inverness, on guitar, we have got Jenna Mccrory. And quite often we find young people reapplying because they've had such a good time and there's still a bit more to learn. So we've got Stephen Stark, who's been on our Cèilidh Trail previously, from Ochtermachty on the drums. And another former participant on accordion who's back again this year. It's wonderful to have Cavan Rogers from Selkirk. And her first time with us on the Fèis Rois Cèilidh Trail on Fiddle from the Isle of Arran, Bethany Walsh.
Thank you very much. That was a set of tunes that I composed myself. The first one was a Strathspey that I composed for my flatmate from university. His name was Cameron Sharp, who also participated in this Cèilidh Trail back in 2015. I wrote it for him because often after a meal, there would be leftover food, and we'd always go halfers on this leftover food. So it's called Go Halfers for my flatmate from uni. The second tune was a jig that I wrote for my little sister, who's called Emily, and the jig's called Emily's Jig. And the last tune in the set was a jig that I composed about my exchange to Russia, where I spent 3 months learning accordion. And the tune's called Davai pod prignium, which translates into English as let's bounce. Some of you are maybe familiar with the phrase, let's bounce, to say, let's go, let's get out here kind of thing. And I'm slowly introducing it into the Russian slang, because they get a wee bit confused, because they just sort of start bouncing when they say that. But I'm slowly introducing it into the wee slang. So that's the sections that we started off with.
We're going to sing a song now from the Isle of Harris, which is where I come from. It was composed by Ian McKeever, who was my choir conductor when I was going through school, and it's called Bjarste Skuen. first to school, gun talk sheen fun.
Happily.
Over our time on Cèilidh Trail. So over our time on Cèilidh Trail, we've had some spare time to work on new sets, and we're about to play one of our newer sets. So the first tune is a tune called Crowcroft Road, and the second tune is another tune that Kevin composed called Mullock, and it's for a man that used to listen to Stephen and Kevin playing when they were younger, and he always enjoyed their music, so this one's for him, really. Hope you enjoy it.
just before we do our last song and set of tunes, I'm just going to tell you, for those who are wondering where the double bass is and can't see a double bass on stage, there's a little box just here to my left, and inside that box is a little gentleman called Jeff. He's very small, and he's also got a very small double bass. And when I press buttons on this left hand of mine, it tells Jeff to play the same note on his double bass, just for those who were wondering where the double bass was coming from.
So we're going to finish off with a set of tunes and a song. So the first tune is called Bharata Bala, and then we're going to go into a tune called the Shetland Fiddle Diva, which is by Ian Lothian, who was Cavan's accordion teacher. And it's about Katrina MacDonald, who teaches on Jenna's course in Newcastle. And then we're going to go into a song, which I'll let Karina introduce for you.
Yeah, so we're going to finish off with a funny song, which was taught to us by Callum Macmillan during our training week. And it's basically about a guy who was sort of fed too much by his mother, and he can't get into his trousers. So
just before we do that last set, folks, we just would like to say a few thank yous. We've had an absolute blast on the Cèilidh Trail, so it's only fitting that we thank the people necessary. Firstly, I'd like to thank On Sound this evening. He's done an absolutely wonderful job. Please give it up for Graham. We'd like to give a huge big thank you, the biggest thank you of all, to Fiona and Christian, because without them, none of this could be a thing. So please give a massive round of applause for Fiona and Christian. Now, he isn't here with us tonight. He's not in the audience tonight. However, it is a tough job driving us lot around. We're very rowdy in the van. There's plenty of mischief going on and loud music and loud singing. So can you please give it up for our driver for this week? It was John. Please give it up for John. But our biggest thank you of all must go to you. Thank you all very much for coming out and supporting us all. We really, really appreciate it.
san grúg pís a chuirte bidich í bánach dúidú se fiol a múte fásost. I bhach a tún gan túla gad raft a bhar cúrin hés gan jas an tún chundarach snach duine fricus fásost bidich í bánach dúidú se ním san grúg pís a chuirte bidich í bánach dúidú se fiol a múte fásost. Spiol a chud a jóla jórs Patrick a geri kom a chud a gazala van túla múlana ma chúb sin a sú a mahara bánach dúidú se ním san grúg pís a chuirte bidich í bánach dúidú se fiol a múte fásost. Ní a chud a fucú a tastan agus dúd agus i dúgan in na ceir a gúg a baiad chud na mahara bidich í bánach dúidú se ním san grúg pís a chuirte bidich í bánach dúidú se fiol a múte fásost.
Nach cuir se bosin ricile a ríist. There's an Karina, Jenna, Kevin, Bethany agus Stephen. Woo! I'm going to invite all of the other young musicians to come on the stage and play for you now as a one big stramash to finish the evening. And while they're getting organised behind me, a project on the scale of our Fèis Rois Cèilidh Trail wouldn't happen without lots of generous support from our funders. So the project, I'll move over this way a wee bit. The project is largely funded by Creative Scotland through our regular funding agreement with them. The whole project costs about £60,000 to run. We also have a partnership with Scottish Natural Heritage, and the group you've just heard, we're playing on their National Nature Reserve down at Cairnsmore of Fleet in Dumfries and Galloway this week. Another group were at Loch Fleet up north yesterday, so we play on a range of their sites over the summer. And the young people themselves have responsibility for bringing in £10,000 of earned income. We charge venues small fees to have the trail. They go busking and all kinds of other things. So that's how the project works. But it wouldn't work without our core support from Highland Council. We receive £29,000 a year from the council here. And although that money doesn't directly go on this project, without that money, I couldn't leave it in all of this other money. And I've mentioned all the things that we've been doing this summer, and just at the side of the stage there, I was adding up very roughly what we've paid to artists over the last 7 weeks between Laurie on this project, Under Canvas, and some local work we've been doing in the Highlands. and it can't be less than £70,000 that's gone directly to musicians this summer in the last few weeks. The project wouldn't happen without two people who do all the hard work. I come on here and talk, but I've done very little for the Cèilidh Trail this summer, really. Josie Gatons, who might be watching online, she set up most of the tour with all the venues, and then she took off to Iceland for an internship. So thank you very much to Josie Gatons. And project managing all summer and taking some photographs for us also is Christian Gamouth. The project also wouldn't be possible without a big team of freelance staff, and I won't name them all because I'm guaranteed to forget somebody, and they're all amazing. So the training week, we bring in lots of freelance tutors. Karina mentioned Callum Alec Macmillan that taught that song. We had folk like Anna Massey in working with them as well, and many, many others. And then the really important job is the health and well-being of these young people and keeping them safe and cared for and happy and mentoring them musically. And we have a team of freelance drivers and mentors that are with them the whole time for the 4-week tour. So please give a big round of applause for all of those people. And tonight we've been really well looked after by Graham on sound and Zoe on the lights, and beside us here with Rory and Paul. So the staff at Eden Court, thank you very much. And of course, I think the biggest thanks of all has to go to this tremendous group of 15 young musicians. Please give it up for them, and they'll give you one last tune.
Can we have another massive thank you to Fiona Dalgetty?